Good evening, everyone. Welcome to closing comments here for March 18th. Let's jump right into our charts and see what happened in these markets today. First up, we got our June live cattle on the board. We did see pretty similar action to yesterday's here in this June contract. Price opening up down there near 232 and rallying back up there towards 234. A little bit stronger close here today as this market did finish up above that prior day high. However, this today's range pretty much hanging out right around this prior day's action. We did see this market push back up here and finish above that prior day high late, just right into the close here. This opens the door for the bulls to come up here and trade 235 and a quarter. Some of these multi-week point of controls here, right around 234 and a quarter, should be in a magnet to price here. So if we get early bids above today's high, look for this market to snap up here towards 235. We expect to see those sellers start to get aggressive and get active up here in this big red box we've got marked out here. This is going to be a tough area for those bulls to chew through, so look for this market to balance out, poke up into some of these areas, and be met with some selling pressure. So we should see those bears start to get active here in the next couple days. Keep this market capped up here between 34 and 36, and try and keep this market moving lower once again back down into the mid 220s. If the bulls are able to get a nice strong push here throughout the remainder of this week and finish back here above 236 half, that will open the door to a little bit of to some sustainable upside. But at the moment, we still got a lot of overhead supply here, a lot of resistance to chew through. So it's going to take a battle here for those bulls to get through there. Once again, that light volume rally here so far this week is just not a very good look here for those bulls. We should see that volume start to pick up here over the next couple of days as those sellers start to enter this market again and try and get this thing moving back towards the 220s. Next up, we got our April feeders on the board. Similar action here today. Prices just tightening up and staying inside that prior day's range. We do get this market finishing up here right around 354 and a half once again, near those highs. However, we continue to see very little volume here in this feeder market as well on this relief rally we've had so far this week. Kind of running into some resistance here at these major moving averages. We've gotten some closes above them, but price has just kind of been hanging steady here right around those averages. A lot of volume getting built up here between 353 and 355, so we are starting to see a little bit more selling pressure here in this feeder market as it didn't get above those prior day highs. Price is just kind of hanging out here near the top end of that prior day's range. Look for any offers tomorrow below 353 to get the ball rolling lower here for this feeder market. Little inside day here at these averages could open the door to some selling pressure early. However, if those bulls are able to continue rallying above today's high, look for them to try and rally back up here towards 360 and pick up some more sellers up in this area. This downtrend still remains intact as long as we're trading below 362. So look for any sort of rallies here to be selling opportunities, and those sellers start to step back into this market and try and keep this feeder market going lower. We continue to see a downtrend here across both feeder and live markets. We haven't seen any higher highs here over the course of the last few weeks, so we expect to see those sellers remain active and get to pushing this market lower again here in the meantime. So continue to be defensive here. If this market does see any sort of sustainable rally, we're going to need to see how this week finishes up, and we should see better opportunities for longs in the future. But at the moment, I encourage everyone to still remain defensive. We have seen a little bit of upside here across both feeder and fat markets this week, but this is just looking like a little bit of a relief rally here on some light volume, kind of a dead cat bounce type deal here in this market after it's been beat down over the last couple of weeks. Expect to see those sellers get back into this market before this week is up and try and turn this thing lower. Next up, May corn futures on the board. Nice rally here today after rebounding off of that 20-day average yesterday. A little bit of a range bound action in the middle of that prior day's action, kind of chopping up here in the middle of this range. Finding good support at that 20-day, however, and seeing a nice strong push back up towards 464 today. Evening session briefly poking above 465 already here. As we know from last week, this is going to be a battleground once again. So look for this thing to be a fight up here around 465 to 67.5. If those bulls are able to keep on driving higher into tomorrow's session and get some bids above 465 up to 467, that could get them trying to keep this uptrend going, catch up with some of those other green markets, and start pushing back up here towards $5. But we continue to see these range highs be a battleground. Look for tomorrow's finish to lead the next move from here. If we get a weak close tomorrow back below 465, that could send us back to those range lows, keep this thing chopping up. But a finish back up here above 67.5 could open the door to trading this thing up to $5. So look for this to be a battleground here over the next couple of days into the weekend. This corn market's going to continue to see some wider ranges here as it makes its mind up here right around this 465 level. Crude oil prices did undercut our bear pivot here at 92 last night, but seen a nice strong rally back up towards $100 today, failing to finish above that bull pivot here. And as you can see here in the evening session, we are settling back into the 96 area at the moment, continuing just to see some choppy action here as this crude oil market is digesting this recent volatility. Not expecting any sort of major directional moves, just going to continue to see some choppy action here. Keep your eye on the news for any sort of escalation, as that still is a factor here. But this market is just kind of digesting this recent blow up, and keep things short and sweet, as we're not going to see any major directional moves here unless we can get any sort of new information or new news coming out of Iran. So in the meantime, expect some wide ranges and some choppy action here in this crude market. And last but not least, our indexes seen some more downside here today. S&P, Nasdaq, and the Dow all trading lower between 1.5% and 2% on the day. Prices failing below that prior day's low. Seeing this S&P getting rejected off that 20-day average from below. Seeing that selling pressure kick in. We expect to see the downside continue here in these equity markets. Those mega cap names and big components still struggling. The Nasdaq still failing to get up here through the middle of this range, and still weighing heavy down here on this 24 to 24,500 level. Look for these equity markets to continue weighing heavy. The Dow is almost back down to new lows here on the year, so look for the selling pressure to continue to ripple across this stock market. We should see better days in the future, but at the moment, I encourage everyone to stay defensive, be cash heavy here, and wait for better opportunities to put money to work. In the meantime, we should see more downside here across the stock market. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Catch you guys tomorrow.